Hey guys, what's up? My name is Thomas Spark, and today we're doing a Mega DXO1 camera review. Now this camera is perhaps the most interesting camera in the world, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Originally it came out for $600 for the promise of a DSLR quality camera for the smallest, size ever. Look how small this thing is. It's insanely small. Not only that, but the viewfinder primarily uses the iPhone's technology, as well as some features on there. But later on, they actually put an update so you can actually take pictures without your iPhone. So in my opinion, this might be the best camera in the world for how small it is and how cheap it is. It's only $150 to $180 on Amazon right now. Bad news is they're not really making these or selling these anymore. So you're probably gonna have to buy this from a third party, but it is available on Amazon. That's where I got it, for around $150. So in this review, I'm going to be discussing the merits of this camera, what makes it so special, as well as answering the question if it's worth the money for $150 or even $600. So again, let's dive into this review. First, I'm going to be checking out what the camera is capable in terms of its features, what it looks like close-up, so on. Then I'm going to be taking it to the park, doing some comparisons between my iPhone 8 Plus picture taking, quality of the video, as well as compare that to the DXO1. I'm also going to be testing out some of its more advanced and unique features like wireless capability. Alright guys, thanks for checking out this video beforehand, and let's dive into the full DXO1 review. So taking a look at the DXO1, this is what it looks like. So it's an incredibly small camera. If you look at it, it's just about as wide as, half my thumb. And in terms of the length of it, it's only about as wide, as long as, half of my index finger. So this really is a small device here. It really fits into any kind of pocket. It's about as big, I would say, or even smaller than one of the old flip phones folded up. It's pretty light as well, not too heavy. Now the construction of it is pretty good. It has kind of like a pretty tough plastic, and some of the parts have more aluminum on them. And now this is the lightning connector for the device, and as you can see back here, this is kind of where the screen is, and this is where the charging and the memory card go. This right here is for, I guess, one of those wrist straps. This is a little tricky to open in some ways, but not too bad. So checking out this, you might be wondering, well, how does this connect to your iPhone? At first I couldn't really figure it out. I couldn't really figure out if you just needed to pull it out or what. But the way it works is that you turn the DXO on, and as you can see, the lens there turns on. Pretty cool. And so it's not open at this point, but what you do is you just push this down, and then it smartly flips out like that. Pretty cool. So this right here is capable of plugging into your phone, and then you can even twist it a little bit. You can't really do it like this, but you can plug it in and twist in this kind of direction. Now with the latest DXO1 update that happened within the last year or so, there actually is a viewfinder on the device. So you can see my keyboard right there. Now it is pretty basic. The viewfinder looks like it went into sleep mode. It is a little bit low on battery. The viewfinder is pretty basic, but it is good enough for me to snap some shots with it without the iPhone. In a lot of ways, I even prefer using the DXO on its own. Pulling out the iPhone is a little bit of a chore. It does get you that viewfinder angle, but this device really is a good point and shoot. The viewfinder here, like I said, is pretty basic. It's just kind of like an OLED kind of black and white kind of thing, but it does give you enough of what you're shooting to get a good picture. And especially because the camera is so small, and if you focus the camera, you can actually feel kind of the internals kind of whirring, and that's what's going to be able to give you that focus and then snap. So in order to kind of change the things on here, you just kind of swipe, and then that's video, auto, and you could go back to video. Works pretty well, as you can see, and you could swipe up to get the viewfinder. So taking pictures, like I said, is pretty easy with this device, because as you can see, if you hold down the button to take a picture, like so, the camera focuses, and the device is so small that you can actually feel the internals kind of focusing. So, like so, and take a picture. So it's pretty easy to look at something, focus, and as you can kind of see here, there we go. So pretty easy to take pictures just like this. Overall though, I really do like the design of the DXO. It's very easy to use as point and shoot alone. And then the only complaint I really have about it is that sometimes it's a bit annoying in order to do this. You have to push it down and put it in, which can be a little bit tricky depending on how many hands you use. But I would say that my favorite thing about this device is how, like I said, the point and shoot capability is insane. And why is that? Well, in order to turn it off, you just do that and it's off. If you want to take a picture, you just slide it down and look how quick that starts up. Boom, take a picture, snap it, close it, put it in your pocket. That's super easy. That's going to be a lot of cameras that take a while to start up. It's even quicker than pulling out your iPhone really and taking a picture. So I really like that feature. I like how the lens is protected with this. I think it's a really clever way to turn the camera on. There's not actually like a button that you have to turn on. You just slide open the lens, take a picture, and slide it closed. So pretty cool device so far.
Action.
All right, so now we're gonna do some tests between the video difference between my iPhone 8 Plus and the DXO1 camera. We're also gonna be talking about the difference in photo quality. Is the DXO1 good enough for filming video? A lot of people complain about the video on this camera, saying it's not good enough. But I'm gonna do some comparisons now and show you the difference between the video and the photo quality.
So in this comparison, I took a pretty close-up photo of this wheel. This was taken with the iPhone 8 Plus. Now notice in this picture how the grass really does look pretty brown. The photo also has a particular rusty colorness to it. It looks pretty orange and the browns are pretty highlighted, a little bit saturated. Now the field, the grass is actually pretty green right now. It is in fall. So this picture, while it does look pretty good artistically in that sense, it's not the most accurate representation of what the field actually looks like. Also, if you look kind of in the background to the right of the wheel, you're going to see a little bit more detail that isn't blurred out. Although you do see more detail and blurred out going past the wheel up the field, but as well as the signpost above it, it doesn't look quite blurred out in totality. Now here's a picture of the DXO1. Now again guys, you're going to have to bear with me here because this is a kind of an image comparison inside a YouTube video at 1080p resolution. It is compressing these files a bit. So looking at the files in the native DXO1 software, showing the process images, as well as comparing them to images taken on the phone, there is a really dramatic difference, and you can see the pixel density as well as stuff like that. Now when you look at it in the viewfinder on the computer, just with a basic Windows Media app or whatever, you're gonna not see a lot more anti-aliasing taking effect, so the detail is not going to be as dramatic as it actually is. But just taking a look at this photo, guys, we could see a little bit more accurate color representation here. The grass is much greener and it's a lot less brown and rusted in terms of the coloration. We also see a bit more blurring out and bokeh effect in the background, especially with that grass that's directly behind the wheel leading up into signpost, which does have more blurring and a better depth of field effect. Now the wheel actually looks pretty good and true to life. It does have some of that brown coloring like I said, but again guys, the comparison between the DXO1 camera and the iPhone especially comes out when you're looking at it in those applications which display the full resolution. The DXO1 is going to have that 20.2 megapixel camera compared to the iPhone, which is around 12 megapixels. So it is going to have more detail, and it does have better focusing on the main subject there. It is going to have a little bit smaller. The iPhone is going to have a little bit more in its field of view, whereas the DXO1 is going to be a little bit closer up in terms of how it is because it has a smaller field of view. Anyways guys, that's a basic kind of comparison between two pictures between the two devices, but you're also going to see a lot more dramatic difference in terms of those night pictures. The DXO1 has a much bigger image sensor than the iPhone 8 Plus. It has a 1-inch image sensor commonly seen in $700 to $800 compact cameras like the Sony RX series, RX 100 series, Model 3 actually. Pretty similar sensor there actually. So we are going to see a lot better pictures in those low lighting. I could have pictures later on to show you guys that. But what really makes the DXO1 stand out, actually, in terms of the DSLR, is that you're going to be able to take super raw pictures, which is going to show even a better clarity in low light conditions. And so that's what gives it such a good rating. So this is a pretty basic picture, but it's one I really liked taking, and it was easy to take. I didn't even use the viewfinder on the iPhone for this picture, but it was at night and indoors with good lighting on the main frame there. But as you can see in the background, we get some really nice colors and good lighting there. Taking with the iPhone, you're not going to get as much detail there in the background. This is one of my favorite pictures I've taken with the DXO1, and in this picture I didn't actually connect my iPhone even. I just pulled it out and point and shoot. Now in this video, you can see really good fidelity there in the colors. It's super sharp, and we see a lot of colors and dynamic range in the colors. I mean, again, in the video it's compressing the file, but in the actual photo you can see the lettering on the signpost there. The shadows are really good, but the detail isn't too bad, and there's just so much going on in this photo, and it looks really good, and it dealt with those lighting conditions, complex lighting conditions, very well. One thing the iPhone has always struggled with is these indoor pictures where there's not very good and consistent lighting, and the DXO1, just like any other DSLR or high-end compact camera, it's going to be able to take great pictures indoor with relatively low lighting. As you can see here, we get a lot of detail and a lot of good accurate colors without it looking too dark. Now I can guarantee the iPhone isn't going to take a picture of this quality. Now let's go ahead and show some comparison shots, some more that I've taken just really quick side by side, more in terms of video. So one thing that's really good about the iPhone is that it has really good optical image stabilization. As you can see here in this video, it's super smooth and feels really good. It's also at 60 FPS, but it's really smooth, and I'm not even holding the camera that steady. Now let's go ahead and look at another clip of pretty much the same kind of video shot with the DXO1. So for some unknown reason, it's not letting me import into Premiere Pro. Not sure what's going on there. Let's go ahead and take a look at the video right now. So as you can see here, the video does look pretty good, and I was just using it in point and shoot mode and not even connected to the iPhone. We do see a little bit of lens flare there, and I was looking at two images. The iPhone camera and video does have a bit better color in terms of those leaves. It's a little dark on the DXO1. And the image stabilization, if you kind of look inside it, does have electronic image stabilization. It's not horrible, but definitely not as smooth as the iPhone. So overall, in terms of video, we're going to do a little bit more tests, but I think that the DXO1's video not really worth using in ton. The images compared to the iPhone are a lot better, but at least in terms of the video, the iPhone has some really interesting stuff going for it, like 4K, 60 FPS. So it is going to be more of a competition between these video modes. Let's go ahead and take a look at some more clips. So this is the first clip with the iPhone. As you can see, it's pretty good image stabilization. It is in 60 FPS. I turned it to 30 FPS to show a comparison, but there is a lot of detail on the ground. The colors are bright and vivid. You can see everything pretty sharply. The camera is really good at focusing, but in this next clip of the DXO1, you're going to see that it has a little bit more trouble focusing in these longer distances. The glass is not as sharp and vivid. You can see there, we're getting a lot of lens flare as well. But overall, the video just kind of has trouble focusing. It can't focus as quickly. My feet even look a little bit overblown and white. And there you go. Here's another video of the DXO1, and now it works pretty good up close when it can focus. But one thing I do want to critique about the DXO1 is a video camera is that it can't zoom in real time while the video is going, whereas with the iPhone camera you can. Now with the iPhone camera, of course, if you zoom in too much, it's definitely going to get a bit pixely and look pretty digital, but still an advantage with the iPhone camera. So in this last clip comparison, the difference isn't as clear. Up close and personal, the DXO1 can focus a bit better, and the difference again isn't as clear. But overall, I still think the iPhone 8 Plus and future iPhones that have come out since then are probably going to have a better video quality than the DXO1. One thing I do want to mention is that the DXO1 is really good for selfie videos. Now, it's always been a problem with the iPhone taking selfie videos. Just the front cameras aren't really that good, and you do notice that the image quality isn't as good as the rear camera. So with the DXO1, you can actually kind of plug in the DXO1 backwards into the iPhone and get that really good image sensor, that really good image quality on your face, and it's really good for selfie videos. Now in terms of selfie videos, I think it blows the iPhone. away, and it probably will for a while. It's a really good selfie video camera. The problem is, again, the field of view is a bit limited, so you're going to have to hold your arm pretty far away or even invest into a selfie stick. Another thing that really impressed me about the DXO1 is that it has really good software for iOS. Now, it's probably not going to be supported much longer, but it did have a couple good updates. But overall, the software is actually quite strong. There's tons of features to play around with. It's easy to use if you don't want to play around with them, since auto modes work well. The application automatically launches when you plug in the device, which is incredibly intuitive and useful. Overall, the camera app is quite well made, and for such a kind of a small camera launch, or when it's unsuccessful perhaps, it's quite a good app. Now, there are some complaints with it. It can be a little bit laggy when switching between picture and video mode, but besides that, I don't really have too many complaints at all with the app, and it even has some unique video modes like Facebook Live and wireless capabilities, which I'll show you how that works right now.
So I am filming this with a DXO camera with a wireless capability. Quite a unique feature. I could have this viewfinder kind of right here. An interesting way to do it, kind of. It's able to detach the viewfinder there. So it could be theoretically pretty good for YouTube videos in, some way or another. So guys, just to give you some sort of idea, the DXO1 camera right now is actually on top of my door. I'll show you right now on my phone what's going on, but as you can see, this is a pretty intense angle here, and not one you'd be able to get otherwise. I can't really think of a tripod situation. It had to be really tall to get up there. Of course, I put it up there with a Gorilla Cam. One thing that really impressed me about this wireless capability is that it can not only connect pretty well in the settings, you just connect to the Wi-Fi and everything like that, but another cool thing about it is that you can actually go out, do something else on your phone, and resume the Wi-Fi connection later on. Let's go ahead and see what other kind of weird shots we can get with this capability. You see guys, you can get some pretty trippy shots with this thing. Look, I don't know how you could do this any other way.
One thing I do want to talk about briefly is the battery life. Is battery life bad? Well, not really. For me, it's more than serviceable. I could take around 50, 60 pictures within a couple of hours and be done for the day. Now, if you're going to be hiking from 8 in the morning to 8 at night, it might run out of battery by then. But you can bring a power pack, charge it when you're eating. You're going to be more than fine. I don't have any problems with the battery life. Even after just not charging it for a day, taking pictures here and there, perfectly serviceable for me. And with how small this device is, how big do you want the battery to be? Now, it's about as thick as my finger, and it's about as small as 3 fingers combined, so I think the battery life is quite fine. So guys, it's time to sum up this video. Well, what do I think of the DXO1? Do I like it? Well, for $150, I think it's pretty much a steal. For $600, I say you do get your quality out of that price tag. You do get the DSLR quality camera that's super small and compact and easy to use. The device feels polished. The application feels easy to use. Everything works as promised. Now, in order to get the DSLR quality, you are going to have to promise some of those images from super raw into the processed JPEGs. But the results you're going to get are going to be insane. This camera takes really good pictures. Compared to my iPhone 8 Plus, the difference is easily very noticeable, and you could really tell the difference when you're looking at it in those fully, uncompressed images in the right sort of apps. To look at those apps like the DSO1 app, which are going to show you, the full resolution. But anyways, guys, as a camera, it is really good, and I would say it's worth $150. I would say it's worth $600. There are some drawbacks, however. The zoom features aren't really that good. You can only zoom in around at ×3 for electronic zoom. So it's not going to give you zoom like an incredible lens could on some of the DSLRs. The viewfinder is something you're going to have to work with if you're just pulling it out to point and shoot. For me, it's doable. You don't really need to see too much. The autofocus works really well. So even if you're just seeing kind of a pixelated image in the OLED, viewfinder, it's going to be, serviceable. I've taken some amazing shots with that, and it's so easy to take out and point and shoot and get these images that I'm pretty satisfied with it. Now, you can connect your iPhone to it and give it some more capabilities and a little bit more leverage, but sometimes I found that it was a little bit clunky and kind of annoying to do in these situations where I just wanted to get a quick picture. But it is worth it to get those, pictures with selfies work really great for video and the camera. And if you want to get a little better shot, specifically of something, it is good to use. You got to be a little bit careful though. You don't want to drop it out. It does stay connected to the phone pretty well though, guys, so that wasn't really an issue for me. Now the video isn't the best. It could be good as kind of a little spy video camera, but I found that the iPhone 8 has better optical image stabilization. The colors are better. It's able to focus a little bit better, the DXO camera. So the video probably isn't going to be something you're going to want to use, especially if you have your phone nearby. Might as well just use your iPhone. So anyways, guys, thanks for checking out this video. Thanks for checking out this master review of the DXO. I think it's a really cool camera and something I haven't seen too many people talk about or give full credit where credit is due. It's really easy to use, and there isn't too many complaints with it besides the video and some other little nitpicky things that I outlined already. Anyways, guys, thanks for checking out this video. I'll see you again on the next one.